Hello everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm speaking to you from the Verse. Now if you're not familiar with the Verse, I encourage you to go to my website at rewritingtheverse.com, and that's where you can find out all about the Verse. And all the videos from YouTube are on there as updates, including a few written updates, so I encourage you to go there and peruse. So for those of you that have watched my past videos already, you realize that I just introduced myself as Michelle instead of Michael. So I'm going to clarify that right now because this is in alignment with what download I'm getting today and what this message is all about. First of all, this video is connected to the upcoming spring equinox on March 20th, 2021. So this download is happening in connection to the energy and what we're going to be going through up until that portal, and then I believe lifting us up beyond that. So, okay. So the download today seems to be about revealing things that are behind the mask, basically. Now, I've been using the name Michael this entire time because of approximately a year and a half ago, or actually a little longer, when I was a part of co-creating the Verse, and again, I'm going to encourage you to go check out the website to realize what that is. I was basically being guided to utilize the name Michael when representing the Verse. And so since this is a video and it is with Rewriting the Verse, I will continue to use the name Michael, but now the name Michelle is interchangeable. So obviously those two names are very similar, and they are the feminine and the masculine form of the name Michael. So my in real life first name is Michelle. And just that piece alone, saying that, this is the first time I've identified myself on my YouTube channel as Michelle. So even that is different. I'm choosing to wear my hair up, which is what I tend to prefer, because this is more me, I guess, than even Michael. But basically, this video, okay, so for those of you that have not seen my videos before, welcome. And I will now kind of give a little bit more of my usual introduction so you know who I am and what I do. So I am a past life regressionist and rewriter, which means I have the ability to look down past timelines, and if it's warranted, to actually rewrite them to a higher level outcome. And through this modality, I tend to do a lot of healings, not just for myself and people near me, but across the globe and even galactically. So I can use it in a lot of different forms. However, today I'm not being called, once again, to actually do a past life regression and or rewrite it right here. And I'm not even sure if they're going to have me do anything other than report basically a dream that I had and the other information that I've gotten since I had that dream this morning. I might end up having to do something, which is fine. They have me do things on air all the time, some sort of an activation or whatever, but that may not occur in this one. I'm not really clear that that's something that will happen. But it was clear to me though when I woke up from that dream, and it was so vivid, and I knew immediately it was a message. When it comes to dreams, they can decay pretty quickly in our memories, and I did my best to remember the important details from it. And basically it makes sense to do a video right away so that I don't forget anything important. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm having to clear my throat a bit. They're telling me to share with you about the 1/1 portal, 1/1/2021 portal that the video I made for that a couple months ago. And basically, in that timeline, there was an overlap of a planet that no longer physically exists, but essentially, on an essence level, still existed, and its overlap with the Earth, and basically us on a whole nother level stepping into the new Earth energy. And finally, at that point, getting to the level of spirituality that we were on that planet when it was destroyed. And then the question was, what was next? If we had finally crawled our way energetically back up to that level, what was next? Well, I believe that this video is a big part of what's next. And even the last video I did, the 3-3 video, was about barriers and walls being dropped, and that people that were literally stuck on another timeline could not make the leap to the higher timeline that was going on and up and continuing up the ascension ladder. So the walls between those two timelines collapsed, and then everyone had the ability, if they chose, to really come over to this higher level timeline. And so again, I think all these last few months have definitely been leading up to this video and what I was basically given information on this morning. Okay. Oh, I didn't script any of this, so I'm just kind of going along with as things are being shown to me. Okay, I think I'm being told to start sharing about, oh, yeah. I have to preface one more thing before I start talking about the dream. I am a gamer. In other words, I really like playing video games, and whether on the computer or I suppose with an Xbox if I had one. I don't, but you know, I've always enjoyed gaming. It's a big pastime for me, and I really like the games, like my current one online that I tend to play. And I'll just say right now, if I say any brand names, I am not in association with them. I get no kickbacks for this, so just make sure that's out there. I play Final Fantasy 14 right now, and I had played it many years ago, but it was not an online game at that point. And it's just I really find it to be a very immersive kind of game. You really get to know the characters and the storyline, and I just really enjoy it. And I'm pretty deep into the storyline. I'm not fully, they've expanded it several times over the years. So there's been, yeah, each story has like an ending. Yay, whatever we did to beat the bad guys or whatever on there. And there's a celebration, and there's an acknowledgement of a completion. And then because there's something that comes after it, then the last few seconds at the end of all the cutscenes kind of gives you a hint of what's coming next, and that there's usually always another bad guy or some situation that will need to be dealt with. So I've already gone through a couple of those on that game where, yay, you know, we hit the pinnacle, it's complete, and then so there's that celebration, but then of course there's something next. I've had that happen a few times, so that is related to the dream. The other thing that is related to the dream, and has only come into my awareness just in this last week, almost exactly a week ago, is virtual reality. Now, I've known about it. I know it exists, and it's really cool for a gamer person. It really sounded cool, but I had never really thought that I could afford something like that. So it never crossed my mind to even explore what possibilities were there. But last week, a friend of a friend said, hey, oh, you're a gamer. Have you ever tried virtual reality? No. He let me try out his gear and play, and of course I'm hooked, right? And because the system that he used is a very, in my opinion, inexpensive system for the quality of gear that it is, I ran out last weekend and got my own, right? So for this last week, I have been immersed in virtual reality, and it's not like there's, I guess, full tracking where you can actually have like a whole bodysuit or points on your body that are hooked in. No, I just have a headset and 2 hand controllers, but that's plenty to have you really get the feel for it. So I have been playing games on there, but also VR chat. Again, no kickbacks here, is the name of an application where you can actually go in an avatar form. So when you go into these places, you don't look like yourself. In virtual reality, you have some sort of an avatar form. And so you go in virtual VR chat, and you can go to all these different worlds, anything, different themes, all those things, and you can pop in and out of worlds. And you can talk with people directly, interact with them with your avatar, play games, whatever. It's been very interesting, and I'm continuing to explore. I feel like all of this now with this dream was leading me up to being able to experience with the virtual reality seemed to be one of the last pieces I needed to be able to understand this dream more, so they could maybe reveal information through the dream I had, because without that experience with RV or VR, I wouldn't have fully grasped what it was. I feel like there's one more thing I'm supposed to say here before I share about the dream. It floated in for a second and I needed to finish that sentence, so now, what was it? Okay, I'm just going to start sharing the dream, and whatever it was, I'll have to chime in if it comes to mind. Okay, let's get to the dream. Okay, so in the dream, it looks like, I would say, a pretty typical dream as far as it looks pretty real. I don't necessarily, in the beginning, I didn't know what I necessarily looked like, but I think I knew I was, my job or whatever was to maybe be a spy, or because I was doing a lot of hiding. As I interfaced with the storyline, I was like hiding and trying to gather intel, or I don't know what I was doing. But that's pretty much what I saw, and it looked fairly real, like we would see real life, right? So I'm heading back, I guess, to where I live, or where the main places that I spend time. And now when I get there, it starts to look a little bit more animated. I'm still, I don't know if I'm aware of this when I first see it, because I think my awareness comes a few minutes later, but ultimately when I get back, it's more of an animated scene. It's more of a seeing the whole I'm in some sort of little city, and I'm trying to make my way through the crowd, and ultimately, I believe, because I had to go back in my dream and say, where was it that I felt like the game was over? Just like in my Final Fantasy game, when the big objective is complete and then everybody celebrates, that's what I was experiencing on there. I didn't necessarily know it until maybe when I look back. But that's where I was at in the storyline in my dream. I saw that there was like I think some sort of a king and queen type of energy coming together out in the middle of the street, and everybody was celebrating. And it was like, okay, we saved the palace, we saved the city, we saved whatever. And it was important, I think, that that king and that queen finally were unified. That seemed to be like the final piece. And so everybody's cheering, and I'm a part of the group here. I'm a part of the whatever's going on. And then I start to walk back the other way, and I'm now noticing that I'm lined up with at least 3 other people next to me. And again, I said it was animated. So all of a sudden I see that I'm holding up a sword, and each one of them is holding up a sword. So I know that we're all the same, and obviously with the sword we're probably like knights or something. Only now, as we're marching down, probably in some sort of a parade type fashion, the person next to me, all of a sudden, the face of the person next to me is revealed. In other words, it's almost like they were in an avatar suit, but all of a sudden I now see their real face. And I can't say it was anybody I necessarily knew in this life. It was just all of a sudden this woman has this kind of complaining a little bit about having to do this last piece of, and so this is, I believe, where it starts to change in the dream. Bottom line was, our avatar outfits were no longer needed. We had beat the game. We had done the final objective. It was now the time of, like I said in Final Fantasy, like the celebration point where there's no more missions, there's no more battles. You've done it, and the storyline is just, the cutscenes are just kind of wrapping it up for you, basically, and the credits will eventually, go down the page and everything. that's the point that I believe now, when I looked at that lady and I saw her true face, that I realized something was changing in the dream, where it was becoming real instead of just an animated version. And after that, I felt a strong urgency in the dream at some level. Yes, I did absolutely know in the dream that the game was over, and that people around me had played characters, and now we were going to be able to actually be revealed to each other. We no longer will have the avatar bodies or the need to act out the storyline anymore. It was going to free us completely, not just to recognize each other, really recognize each other, but actually be able to, break out of those roles that we were in. So a big part of it is me trying to, I want to get through those final cut scenes as fast as possible. I wasn't able to. But I knew once those were done, it was really about being able to go and unhook from the story and the other people that I've been playing with. So I already knew in the dream, it's over, it's done, we won, it's complete. And I'm trying to get back to, like I said, I was some sort of a knight or something in the story, so I'm trying to get back to my wife, actually, who, once I got to where she finally was and I was talking to her, I got like a Snow White kind of feel from her. So there's a little bit of Disney in there, I think. That's wasn't really her role, but it doesn't mean that wasn't still maybe the persona I could connect it to, because there was another person that will play an important part in the story here in just a few minutes, who actually I felt was like Belle from Beauty and the Beast in there. So there's some overlap with some Disney in there, and I'm not quite sure what that's about, other than just, again, roles that maybe most of us can relate to, at least if you're from the United States. You know who these characters are. Hold on, I had something else I needed to say. Oh yes, okay. Here's another piece of information that this may have been the thing I forgot to mention earlier. If you have ever watched the TV series Once Upon a Time, it hasn't been out now for a few years, but it ran for, I don't know, at least 6 or 7 seasons, and I really, really loved that show. And the premise of it was that these characters who played Snow White, Belle, Sleeping Beauty, Hook, all these, they didn't all have to be Disney characters, but characters that we knew from childhood stories. These characters, when you first meet them in the series, they just seem like any other person, people that you would know out in the world. And especially in the first season, the main storyline is that they have to remember who they were, and who they really were these story characters. Well, what I'm getting about this dream is that we have been playing the story characters for a very long time. We've really been fully immersed at every level, like virtual reality, into a story that we no longer knew who we were. We were so deep into the story, we believed we were those characters. But now it's the reverse of Once Upon a Time. It's now time, between now, the time that I'm recording this video, all the way up to the 3/20/2021 date of the spring equinox. That is the portal that this video is connected to. This entire time, I believe, people are going to start realizing that they're no longer the characters. They're no longer the avatars that they believe themselves to be. And that not only will they relate to themselves differently and be freed from their own self-imposed beliefs and restrictive thoughts, but those around them as well will be seen for who they truly are and how they truly relate on the higher levels, on maybe the 5th dimension and beyond. This is huge. This is huge. I mean, the 3.3 video was about, people being able to finally, when there was a wall, and that wall could have very well been dimensional, whatever it was, that it had fallen, and that people could finally see each other at a whole nother level and be who they really want to be. So this dream, I believe, is absolutely letting me know, and now I'm letting you know, that we have won the game, or we are about to. I also got a message that I might have been one of the first ones to kind of punch through to the other side to finally get that last battle done, or whatever it was that needed to be done, but that there's a massive, the entire collective is right there with me. The entire collective is with me. And so we are all, between now and all the way at least through the portal, unmasking ourselves, taking our avatars' bodies off, which means you could be, totally different gender, look totally different. I mean, that's the cool thing about avatars in these games, is you can make them any way you want. And a lot of times we might even choose bodies, avatars that look completely different from us, because either we've always wanted to look that way and we couldn't based on our body size or whatever, or maybe, you could wear the kind of clothes that you always wanted to wear, even if you couldn't afford it in real life, whatever. It's very artistic and very open to all sorts of combinations. Well, now, full awareness that these really were just what we had chosen to play in the game. The game is over, the objective is met. This is not only just a time of celebration, but it's now time to shed completely those old, outgrown avatars. And it's not about switching to a new avatar, so putting a new mask on. No, it's actually about being who you truly are. And then you can also see who the other people that have been playing with you, who they truly are and how they truly relate on a spiritual level. Now, like I said, I rushed back knowing full well that the game was over and that it was time. I really ultimately wanted to go see the Belle character. But I was married to the Snow White character. And that's who I was trying to hurry up and get home to, because I needed to wrap that up. I needed to end that. And I think I already knew in the dream that she was in love with somebody else anyway, so it was time to say, hey, thanks a lot, go on. I wasn't going to pretend that let's try to keep this going. No, it was time for her to go be with whoever she's meant to be with. And I knew that I was meant to be with the Belle character. So I take care of that. She's gone off, Snow White's gone off to wherever she's gone. And then I see the Belle character already there, which I didn't see her at first. She was actually sitting across the room, already there. Already knew apparently who I was, because she met me there, right? I didn't have to go searching for her. So again, she was kind of across the room in the corner, a lit corner, so I could kind of see her over there. And as we moved towards each other, because now I was clear and apparently she was clear that this is the connection that's meant to be. As we came around, she came around to meet and I was there. That side of the room was completely dark. So when we finally met, the universe, keeping me in suspense a little bit longer, I did not get to see what she really looks like. But there was a physical connection. I could physically feel her, which actually seemed taller than she looked in her character, right? She seemed taller and whatever, but at least I knew that was my, well, I'm going to say probably my twin flame. So I still have to wait to confirm who I think might be my twin flame, and maybe I was totally wrong. As much as I'm guided, I'm still human, and I can either misinterpret things or just try to be guessing at things that I don't really know. Whatever the case is, once again, I'm still left in the dark about who it is, but I was able to physically touch them maybe for the first time, even on a spiritual level. So there's still more to be revealed, obviously. But I'm taking my mask off today on purpose, not just for Belle, whoever the Belle character truly is, but not that it felt wrong to call myself Michael all this time, although I think it fit more for me when I first began the videos about a year and a half ago. But, I mean, again, that name was a part of being with rewriting the verse and creating the verse process that happened back around that time. So, but for whatever reason, it was time. It's time to put my hair up. I always wear it down for the videos. And I was like, I'm more comfortable with my hair up. And this is how I would prefer to probably do them, so why not? And if my hair goes down in the next video, it's no big deal. But now there's a certain level of freedom that's already coming through as I'm recording the video. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how it's already unfolding and how it will continue to unfold. I'm trying to see if there's anything else about the video that I need to share. Not the video, the dream that I need to share. I think they just want me to reiterate one more time. The game is over. We have fought our last battle. We have died our last death. We've all the struggle, which was the game. The obstacle course that we had put in front of ourselves, that word has come up a few times in the last few days, and so I'm going to use it again because that's basically what it was. We are playing a game where there's always something else that needs to be conquered or dealt with, or it doesn't leave a lot of time for love, is what I'm getting. But now that we can, well, the game's over. And yes, there's an expansion is what I'm getting, you know, like another story is about to begin, but it's not going to be in the same theme. It's going to be different in some way, hopefully more positive. I mean, we get to go into it already knowing who our true partner is. I think that's a big deal. Who the player is next to us, their real self and not just an avatar. I'm not sure how the next expansion is going to go, but I know that we have completed a game that we have been playing a very long time. Very long time. Very difficult, high degree of difficulty game. And so now we get to not only, you know, walk away from the game and feel proud that we have actually achieved this, but we get to walk away and discard the avatars from that game. We don't need to be that anymore. I guarantee you don't want to be that anymore. It is time to be visible, okay? Thank you to a friend of mine that helped me realize that a couple days ago. It is time to be visible. When you're in an avatar, body or suit, whatever, people don't really see you. And you don't really see them. You can't fully experience them on every level, let's just say that. And so not that you can't have relationships, but they're based on a certain level of falseness, actually, when I think about it. Well, now that the avatars are dropping, going to continue to drop over the next few weeks, there's an opportunity now to connect with people in a whole new way. Not only with people that you still are meeting for the first time, because I'm in virtual reality with people all over the world that I've never met, probably never will meet in person. But even that can shift now that I'm actually being even more, I'm open now on YouTube, which is also across the world as my real life name. So it's shifting on many different levels, but I would say with the people that you already know that are in your life or that have been in your life that may return, now you're going to be able to see them and experience them fully. And so if there was any strife or anything keeping you apart, well, that's if it was a part of the game anyway, if it was purely a part of the game, then that's no longer needed and we can really come back together. So I'm excited. I don't know how things are going to unfold either, because I really don't think we've been here before. So I needed to get that out there before I start to forget the important pieces of the dream. It is a big reveal over the next couple weeks. So I believe that's it. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And from Michelle and Michael, I wish you peace and joy.